Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is October 20th, 2023, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the U.S. markets continue to sell off, and they look like they're tumbling. But first, no major economic events scheduled for today. So as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the major pairs pretty much unchanged, while the British pound still looks a little bit weak. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. Looking at the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ sold off aggressively. And as we look at the commodities, gold continues to actually rally and push higher, while oil gets a rally to $90 a barrel. Now looking at the stocks, ALCOA and Tesla showing tremendous weakness with a gap down and a sell-off. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin gets a spike. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we are, starting with the Euro USD. Not much doing, so I'm not going to jump into it too far. But looking at the British pound, did not get a bounce, and it's trading closer to its lows. So although day to day it hasn't changed much, but it's still looking relatively weak. And remember, I said if it does pull us lower, it'll pull the euro down as well. Now jumping into commodities, first looking at gold, look at that spike. 1979 is where we're at. First looking at a weekly chart, and we past that 30-day moving average, so we are trading much higher than that 30-day moving average, and so we're almost back to resistance-ish level, and this may mean that we're actually going to take it higher this time, seeing how the Fed hasn't really been content with the situation with inflation, and that may mean we may get a higher, longer interest rate. So crude oil also showing some resilience, trading at $89 a barrel as well, as that has gotten stronger as well. Now looking at the rest of the markets, the U.S. markets, both the Dow Jones sold off, okay, and continue to sell off. Look at that movement, 33,492. And look at the NASDAQ also trading at 14,819. We're looking at a daily. If we look at a 4-hour chart, you can see the aggressiveness of the sell-off. Now looking specifically at two stocks, okay, this is where it becomes really big. Tesla gets a big gap down from 250 down to 200. And now if it 220, excuse me, now if it does break this is really an important level. That may mean we can continue selling off, you know, even further. So it does still have way to sell off, so keep that in mind. And as we look at ALCOA, also big gap down and a sell-off. If we look at a weekly chart, that is new lows for the year. Okay, this is very enthusiastic, that's not a word. This is really not encouraging. That's what I meant to say, as the markets are really reeling from the situation. Now, lastly, looking at Facebook, also breaking that 30-day moving average. Now, big tech is coming out with major earning reports starting next week, so just be aware of it. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, gets a nice spike. Okay, we actually spiked higher to 29,290, and I said this, it doesn't trade much, but when it goes, it goes. So you know, this is exactly what's going on. Now looking at a daily, okay, just be aware that we are breaking above it and we're holding it. So for now, we haven't gotten to that 29,000, but there is resistance there. So just keep that in mind, that it still has upside potential. This is Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day and weekend.